Hello, everyone, and welcome to EduMatch. Very glad to have you here. Follow along with us at tinyurl.com/tweet and talk 61, as well as on Twitter with the hashtag EduMatch. Speaking of EduMatch, if you are interested in being the EduMatch person of the day, just go to our website, edumatch.org, fill out the Google form. We'll get you all set up and tweet out information about you. Right now, we do have a little bit of a list, but we're working through it. So definitely sign up so we can get you on there. So just wanted to give a huge shout out to Q Nevada. I'm sorry, Q Nevada. I learned how to pronounce it correctly this weekend. So huge shout out to Q Nevada. Thank you so much for having me. And just wanted to also thank everyone for being so willing to share, learn some really great things, and saw a lot of EduMatchers. Got to hang out with them this weekend. So without any further ado, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is tech integration. So we have a fantastic panel with us right now. So I'm just going to have everyone introduce themselves, going from my left to right. So we'll start with Barbara. If you could please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Barbara Cotter, a tech integration specialist, 24 years, pre-K through 12. Florida and St. Lucia based. Loving the collaboration and looking forward to a great tweet and talk as far as tech integration is concerned.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Very glad to have you here. All right, next we're going to Rachelle.
Hi, I'm Rachelle Poth. I'm from Pittsburgh. I teach Spanish and a course in STEAM, emerging technologies. I've been teaching for about 20 years, and I'm excited about the topic today and glad to be involved with this great panel. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very glad to have you here. All right, and we're going next to Stacy.
Hey everybody, this is Stacy, and I'm here in sunny North Carolina where fall has finally arrived, and I'm a instructional technology facilitator for 5 schools and a former middle school science teacher. So I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. So glad to have you. So we have a fantastic panel. Let me just go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Sarah Thomas. I am a regional technology coordinator in Maryland and the founder of EduMatch. So very happy to be here and very excited to learn from our 3 fantastic panelists as well as everyone on Twitter. So the first question, let's go ahead and jump into it. If you could please define technology integration, what does it look like to you? So maybe what it looks like at your school or what you've seen or just whatever technology integration means to you. So who would like to start that one off? All right, Barbara, go right ahead.
Okay, to me, the tech integration for me is one where a complete marriage of new technology meets 21st century learner, and there's a creativity beyond imagination. As far as I'm concerned, in technology tools, in a way that you can start pretty much thinking up with the learners, that is, thinking about new ways or new jobs that can come about through the use of the technology in the classroom. So it's more of a preparation for the future, so to speak, with the technology that's out there, even though it may seem futuristic, but I believe the technology evolves through the learners in the classroom because they're the ones that get to take technology to the next level. And it's not just all tech. To me, it's a complete integration cross-curricular.
Wow, fantastic point. So our learners are going to be our technology creators. That is awesome. I love it. All right, Stacy.
Hey, well, I have an example. I agree a zillion % with what you just said, Barb. And I have an example of that kind of fits, I think, with what you were saying. We were really lucky in our district this year to get a virtual reality kit. Just one big bunch of the viewers with the phones, with the tablet, and we've been able to take it around to different schools and use it with students. And at first, we were, and I did some research and I talked with my virtual reality Voxer group, and there was some some discussion about how to make this more than just sort of a passive viewing experience. It's new, it's technology, but how to really integrate it into the classroom experience. And what I love about my job is that I got to work with some amazing teachers who took this technology and worked with me. We were able to collaborate really well together and make it an experience. They talk about don't just teach a lesson, give the kids an experience. So we went on a virtual field trip in the classroom, but integrated it into the standards. We're able to kind of take Google Expeditions words that the expeditions come with and change them for what was going on in the student's classroom to meet the teacher's standards that she needed to get across and to make it a memorable experience. We were able to add some concrete pieces. This was an elementary level lesson that she was teaching, so we added some kind of hands-on pieces that they did at their tables during the virtual field trip, and then the teacher had some processing things where they did turn and talk, and they did some movement pieces in the lesson as well. So the technology was a component of the overall lesson, and I just loved that. So it was truly integrated rather than just something kind of cool that still would be memorable, but it was a piece that added that springboard to a bigger discussion.
Absolutely, definitely integrating those opportunities. And it's funny that you mentioned augmented reality, because that's going to be our topic for next week. So maybe we'll see you back if you happen to be free. All right, great. And what about Rachelle?
Well, I agree with both what Barb and Stacy said. I could just give you some examples of in my classroom when I started a couple of years ago, integrating more technology. I mean, we had computers in the classroom, and it's more than just about having, like, here's the computer. You need to have a purpose for using it. And in my case, teaching Spanish, the reason I started using more was because I wanted to have ways for each student to have access to some kind of a resource that could expand their learning. The traditional book, paper format, flashcards, for some kids, that's what works. That's what it takes, and that's how they learn best. And other students, it didn't work that way. And so technology became that tool to kind of connect those two dots in a sense, and offer something for each of the students. And that's what I like the most about it, is that each student, I remember back when I was in high school, we didn't have the technology that we have today. So projects were on paper, and I was not artistic, and I couldn't draw very well. And I was always afraid of doing projects like that. But today, you still have those students like me who don't want to draw, and technology with all the tools that they have that choice where they can find something that meets their needs and their interests. And it's more meaningful, and it really can combine a lot of elements as far as the learning and make access to resources quicker with a lot more choices. So
absolutely, that becomes a super tool for differentiation and various pathways to success. So absolutely love it. All right, so next question that I have for you all is, all right, and this one generated a lot of great discussion a little while ago in the EduMatch. So I don't know if y'all remember, but should technology classes be taught? Why or why not? And if not, please describe an alternative. So what do y'all say? Yay or nay for the technology classes? All right, Barbara.
I definitely will say yay, because I believe it's something that you can't. It's like saying, okay, should character education be taught? You can't hide away from something or shy away from something that's out there. This is something that our learners, they're coming out of the womb with iPads and Androids in hand. Forget to do the umbilical cord. They're connected via technology from birth. So why should we deny them that opportunity for preparation for what is to come, or helping to solve problems that are out there with the technology? I say definitely yes. And it should not just start with, okay, wow, the technology is cool, the technology is out there, there's something new, there's something innovative, let's try and see how best we can integrate it. I think it should be the other way around. We should be asking our learners, okay, what problems would you like to see, do you see out there? What issues do you see out there that you can use technology to help simplify life? Because, persons should not see the technology as just this add-on. It should not be something brought into the curriculum where, just because we want to use it. It should, to me, the technology should be the tool that you're heading to use to help make life that you know of, the life that you're used to, a whole lot simpler, and where it may be complicated, be it vision impairment, whatever, speech impairment, whatever complication that persons may have, and how to figure out a way to use that technology to helping persons overcome some difficulties or hurdles that they may be experiences, because of the lack of the technology. And to me, the use of the technology therefore should not, does not stem from just a high end. You can start from either the very, very low tech, a little voice recorder, to help to propel the classroom discussion, and move from then on. But of course, with technology comes responsibility. So I believe, don't just say yes to it, but yes to the fact that you want to make the users of the technology accountable, using it wisely. So yes, but with care and precision.
Absolutely. I definitely see where you're coming from, and definitely agree, Barbara. For clarification, in the group, then kind of the debate was centering around, should tech be should it be taught as a separate course, or should it be integrated in classes as teachers, deliver their lessons? So Barbara, what do you say to that?
Being integrated, like any of the stuff, I don't see the need for it to be taught in isolation. And a lot of teachers may disagree in the sense that they believe that they should not be the specialists in order to teach it. But I believe that it's like asking a kid to use a pencil. I mean, way back when pencils were, and you were teaching cursive writing, just to throw it in there, you're not gonna tell me that you're not gonna teach the kid to use a fountain pen or a stylus, whatever the instrument may be to write with. So yes, I believe it should be taught in the classroom. As to how I believe the basic knowing how to turn it on, turn it off, knowing the niceties of using it. If you're going looking at social media aspect of it, that can be touched on, as far as how are we going to use the technology for social studies, mathematics, language arts, foreign language studies. The learner and the teacher gets to see that the tool itself is not just a tool. It's way more than that. It's an advancement to life. So I believe, yes, it should be incorporated in the classroom. If you're going to be looking at the back end of the technology, where you're looking at, going deeper as far as delving into pieces of it, then that can be left to the technologists. But who says that any other kid can't learn it in the science class, through coding, through the math class, through the language class, or through the art class in coding, because they get to learn how to pretty much follow a sequence, a pattern, and that pretty much lends itself to exploring language arts, where you recognize that if something is out of context, or there's a context not relevant, then it throws the entire sentence off, or it makes no sense, so to speak. So yes, I believe the technology should be integrated, and it can be done by any teacher, starting with digital citizenship. And that to me is the first step to introducing technology across the board. Be digital citizens.
Absolutely, that is such a strong component of technology integration. Just using, being a global citizen. Absolutely. So I see Rachelle, would you like to jump in on this?
Nothing much more to add than what Barb said, because she pretty much covered all of the bases with it. But digital citizenship, the thing that she said most recently, yeah, that's definitely some point that you need to start, and it's not specific to one technology course. That falls on each teacher in their classroom. It's part of whatever you're doing, because students have to do research and projects, and so they have to know proper citation and how to check the validity of resources. But as far as the question about technology courses, I think there should be separate classes that focus on different topics, because there are students who have that interest and want to focus on that area. But I think there's so many things out there that each teacher and each content can benefit from, that it's mutually beneficial for the teachers and the students that technology be integrated and used in some way in the classroom. And it might be something simple as an alternative to, like, for example, history. Timelines, I've always thought timelines were specific to a history course, but you can adapt those to any course, and you can use technology to create a timeline. So you can use any tool in any class. I just think that it's finding the right purpose for it, and I think it's win-win no matter what you do.
All right, fantastic. And Stacy, what about you?
Okay, so I'm listening to the whole conversation, and I missed the Edge Match conversation on this whole thing. So I support kindergarten to elementaries all the way through early college, and my elementary schools are different. One has a computer class that the kids rotate. There's one of their specials. And then one of my elementary schools does not. And so they get all of their technology through either the media coordinator by the teachers bringing their kids in and they do some kind of a project, or through class, embedded in their classes, and then middle school and then high school. And so I see a real wide variety of ways. And so I guess I see kind of the way you were saying, Rachelle, I don't feel like it has to be either or. I feel like it should be both and, right? I feel like that the computer classes that I see provide a skill a lot of times, or a focused content piece. They might be a coding class, or they might be in the high school, they might be like a certification class that kids can choose to take. In the elementary school, when they rotate through their computer special class, we're all about Google Apps for Education, so she is making sure that they all have some, depending on the grade level, and it's kindergarten all the way through upper elementary. She makes sure that she does projects with them that are teaching them their Google Apps for Education skills, and to the extent that she can, because she has to support every single grade level in the building, she tries to pick things that are compatible with the standards that are going on in the grade level. So she communicates with each grade level and tries to keep on track with that. So touching base with standards that are going on at the time in the building. So I see sort of that kind of support there. But on the other hand, that doesn't leave the classroom teachers, just saying, oh, well, they learned that in computer class. I don't need to integrate technology into my classroom. They see their role as taking those skills and saying, okay, well, you know how to get into Google Classroom. Now let's take that from there and do even more with it. And so it's all interconnected, and each one supports the other. So I kind of come down on the side of both and, not either or.
All right, fantastic. So kind of a marriage between the two. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of ties into question 4. So this is the final question. Final countdown. No, I'm just joking. But what would you tell someone who may be staunchly opposed to integrating technology in his or her class? Because sometimes we run across sometimes, some of our peers are a little tech phobic. So what do we tell them if they're staunchly opposed to learning or integrating technology? So Rachelle, what do you say?
Well, the first thing I would say would actually be a question. I would say why? Because there has to be a reason. My students, and anybody will say, well, I don't like this or I hate that. And I say, okay, that's fine, but what's your reason for it? That'd be the first thing I'd ask. And based on that answer, one thing that I might tell them is, we are in a classroom, we're modeling things for our students. And it's kind of like, how do you feel if you want the students to complete some kind of an assignment or an assessment or participate in class discussion, and they're staunchly opposed to doing that in your classroom? So you kind of flip the roles a little bit. But I would say, ask yourself one question. What is one thing that might help your students learn a little more or in a different way? Or what is something that takes up a lot of your time? And have a conversation with them and see if I can find, and that's usually what I try to do. I engage them in conversation and find out, what's one thing that you notice is missing or that could help you be more efficient or benefit the students, and then focus on that and just try one thing and take it step by step. And then after a few, I don't know, a week or so giving it a try, if it doesn't work, then evaluate why it didn't work and then try something different. But I have met a lot of teachers who are apprehensive about it, and a lot of it comes down to not knowing what's out there or not knowing the benefits of it. And I guess the biggest thing is to have a conversation, find out the why, and then figure out how to help them take that first step, because it is a risk and it can be challenging and scary. But if you just take one step at a time, we're all learning. We learn from our students, and we are not experts. Just because we know how to use technology does not make us experts. We started somewhere too. So I would just share experiences, as best as I could with them.
All right, fantastic. Definitely flipping the script on them is definitely effective. Absolutely. All right, Barb, what about you?
I'm gonna. While Rachelle was speaking, I'm thinking all that came to my mind was caveman. I wouldn't even ask the why before. I would just go, okay. First thing, can you picture yourself years ago, centuries ago, where you were literally living under a rock? How would you survive? How did you get to work? I mean, look at all the simple things, because when I think of technology, I like to start with the very simple. You waking up in the morning, you getting up, you figuring out, okay, got to get to work, take the bus. Guess what? Technology. Drive the car. Guess what? Technology. Got to make a call. Guess what? Technology. Check the weather. Guess what? Technology. Think of the many things that we've become so dependent on, and I say dependent because we're in a tech world right now. There's many things that we've gotten accustomed to that has made life so much simpler now because of the technology. You've got to think now, you've got those 21st, and I like to call it 21st, 22nd onset users who are thinking ahead of the curve. They're thinking right now, if only we could make this better. If only we had this technology that could remove 5 steps from the 10 steps that we've been accomplishing in our daily lives. Think of the many ways that the technology has been a help as opposed to a hindrance, and weigh it out. See which one has more of the pros and which of the cons, what the cons are, and if there are, and there will be cons, what those cons are. What do you think technology-wise can be used to flip the switch as far as making those cons more of pros? And how then has the technology advanced from where it began? I mean, look at when we're having a conversation. We're having this tweet and talk through Hangouts. Was this even possible way back? Who would have even thought this would be possible way back then? So I like to look at it from the caveman perspective. Picture yourself a day it's just living a day without technology. Let me know what your day is like without the technology. How were you able to survive? Now try to think of, with the technology that you have, what has it done for you over the years, and where do you think you see it going in the next decade, in the next couple of years? I mean, that's what our learners are thinking. They're thinking ahead of the curve. They're thinking of what the technology is going to look like tomorrow, really ahead of it. So we as educators need to prepare ourselves, even though we may have our arms crossed and thinking, I don't need this. Really, are you saying that you don't need it because you believe it is not a necessity for the 21st century learner? That's holding you back because there's a fear of what is to come. Because I believe there's more, like Rachelle said, there's a why underlying the refusal. And that could be a fear of what is to come. So think of it, how far we've come, the advancements that we've made. And, there was a fear in making these advancements 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. There was fear. There will always be fear. So the onset is, how do we approach change? Are we making this change for ourselves as educators, or are we making change for learners coming up and the future educators? So that's how I believe we should approach it, as change, not just for us as educators in the now, but for the future. and embracing the change in a positive way as best as we can.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yes, that is so key. Like giving kids that exposure, giving them those opportunities might, spark the next world changing idea. So absolutely, definitely rocking with you on that. Stacey, what about you?
I agree 1,000,000% with everything both of you guys just said. And I think, we can't fix a problem that we don't know the cause of. So figuring out why teachers are reluctant to use technology is really, really important. And hold on one second. I got to make a comment over here on the right. Anyways, I'm in my kitchen. It's super noisy. And one of the reasons really that I see what it boils down to is fear, whether it's fear of change, or it's fear that they don't know how to use the technology, if it's fear that they'll just get behind in their curriculum and they won't get through it all and the kids won't learn and they'll do poorly on their end of grade tests or their end of course tests and their administrator will be on their case and the parent, there are just all these layers of fear out there. And in my job as an instructional technology facilitator, that's part of my job, right, is to be there to help, to support, to find out what those fears are and try to alleviate them. So, and sometimes it's just fear of asking for help, fear of, being the one to raise their hand and say, I don't know, because teachers are used to being the one who knows and not asking for help. So, finding out why teachers are reluctant to use technology is really important. I think that at the base, most of our teachers, at their core, most of our teachers are, they're, here for the right reasons. We're here to prepare our kids for the future, and we believe that we don't want to teach them to, ride a horse when everybody's going to be driving a Tesla, right? So we need, that's who we are as educators. So if the thing that's holding us back we need to find out what that thing is that's holding teachers back, and then once we kind of get to the bottom of that, we can figure out how to support them better. So I view that as one of my biggest challenges is to step back from one of my favorite articles was in Edutopia, and I know it's been out and written about in lots of other places, but it was called the teacher's curse, and it was about not remembering what it was like not to know. That we know so much. We're like, I'm an expert in whatever it is that I teach. And that when you're teaching somebody who's brand new at it, you forget what it was like to have that just be crazy hard to do. And so to step back and put yourself in that struggling learner, position and remember what it was like for every single thing to be like, whoa, I don't get it. And just feel that way and start from ground zero. So, finding out why, I think that's the thing I try to focus on and remind myself to do.
Absolutely, focusing on that why. And I love that about the teacher's curse. I'm gonna have to go find that article because that just reminds me of a conversation I was having with somebody a few years ago about how to get people started with connecting with PLNs, things of that nature, and just kind of remembering what it was like to begin. So absolutely, I'm gonna have to look that up. So just wanted to thank you all so much. This was an awesome conversation. So many aha moments. I feel like my brain just went and I just right now I just want to blog, like, really. So definitely wanted to thank you all on panel for an awesome discussion. Also wanted to thank everyone who is tweeting with us and everyone who's watching and everyone who will watch in the future. So the Twitter transcript will be out in about the next 5 minutes or so, and this episode will be available on iTunes in a few weeks. So next week we're going to be talking about augmented reality. So that's going to be great. We're going to be at our regularly scheduled time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested in being a panelist, you can sign up at tinyurl.com/EduMatch sign up. And we're going to put together a panel there. So anyone can be a panelist. You can, as long as you are in education or have some kind of interest in the subject. So definitely looking forward to that. So subscribe to the podcast if you're interested at bit.ly/ EduMatch podcast. So definitely wanted to thank everybody once again. And a shout out coming up, EdCamp Tampa Bay this Saturday. Very excited about that. So definitely looking forward to it. So Barbara, are you going to be there?
I can't give virtual applause, so I'm going, woohoo, and yay, Sarah.
Absolutely. Oh man, y'all are the best. All right, so everyone enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a great weekend. See y'all next week.
Bye, guys.
Awesome. Bye.
It was fun chatting with you.
You too. Thank you.